Hi friends, welcome to the 100 Days of Care. Let's start with a brief meditation just to settle the body, settle the heart, settle the mind, and we'll recite a loving kindness mantra. I'll use an example one. If you've already crafted your own mantra, you could substitute it here. So just coming to rest for a moment, coming to settle, stopping what you're doing. If you're listening to this or watching this while multitasking, just pause. Take a few breaths with me. Inhaling, fill the belly. And release. You can exhale through an open mouth. The sense that you're breathing out completely, the diaphragm coming up to press the air out. Let's do another big breath. So breathing into the belly, fill the belly and chest. As you exhale, feel the response of the body, kind of relaxing, releasing. One more time, nice full breath in and exhale. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, you could close your eyes, soften the muscles of the face, relax the shoulders, let the whole body kind of soften, whether you're standing or walking or sitting, laying down. Letting your mind be with the sensations of the body. Aware of the breath, rising inhalations, a sense of lift, lightness. Falling exhalations, a sense of letting go and releasing. See if you can unhook letting the body breathe itself and simply observing the movement of the breath, the sensations of the breath. You could turn up the corners of the mouth a little, encouraging a lightheartedness, openness. And notice the momentum of the thinking mind, the energy there from whatever you've been engaged with today. When we stop and meditate, we're not trying to stop thoughts. We're not pushing thoughts down. We're not distracting ourselves away from thoughts. We just come in to settle and rest and not put any energy into the thoughts. So the thoughts will keep coming, but we're resting in the breath instead, feeling the body. And just taking a little rest. After we've settled down a bit, take a few minutes to kind of warm up to the heart space, reciting our mantra, reciting a loving kindness mantra to ourselves. I am peaceful, I am safe, I am healthy, I live with ease. I am peaceful, I am safe, I am healthy, I live with ease. Inwardly or internally, we hold ourselves with a softness, a carefulness. I am peaceful, I am safe, I am healthy, I live with ease. So you've decided to undertake the 100 Days of Care this autumn. So it's September of 2024, and we are going to run our 100 days from Monday, September 23rd until December 31st. So the period of 100 days backs itself right up into the end of the year. We'll reach New Year's Eve filled with loving kindness, one hopes. We've had a couple of opportunities already to come together as a live cohort for an introductory session, and I felt I would just do on my own here in the nice clear daylight a simple video explaining the steps. If you didn't come to one of those sessions, or if you're joining us late and want a simple instruction to the practice. So if you're working from the book, 100 Days of Care, there's a little bit of content here and there on the topics that we're going to cover through the 100 days. And for your part, there are 100 pages that are for entering your daily mantra. So that's our first commitment, is to recall. So we remember that we're doing the 100 Days of Care. We recall the mantra that we've come up with, that we've crafted for ourselves. We write it in this top space along with the date. And then morning check-in and intentions. So whenever you get to this, the first time in the day, whether that's early in the morning, you don't remember till the afternoon, that's fine. You do a check-in and intention. What is my practice today? How will I be of service to myself and to others? Below that, we have a spot for putting things you're grateful for. So gratitude opens the heart. It puts us in the right state of mind, right frame of mind. We've got priorities and commitments here. So the second daily commitment, the first is the mantra, recalling it and writing it down. The second commitment is a brief meditation or a meditation. What I'm recommending for people is that you do 1 minute a day for 100 days, that's the commitment. Anytime that you do more, anytime you do 5 minutes or 10 or 20 minutes of meditation, it's a bonus, it's wonderful. But as soon as you hit that 1 minute mark, you have accomplished your commitment. And so making it very manageable, very small daily commitment. The idea is that we're going to lead ourselves from success to success. We're going to feel that we are accomplishing, and that feels good. So that's the first of your priorities and the second of your commitments. The mantra and the meditation, there's a spot here. There's a few spots here for other daily commitments you could set for yourself. Now these ones could change, that you could have a different set every day. It revolves around things that you want to undertake that you know are good for your well-being, whether that's getting into bed early, drinking enough water, avoiding alcohol or caffeine, going for a walk. You could, if you're creative type, and everyone has some level of creativity, you could play with art supplies, you could paint a picture, you could write, you could sing and dance, yes? Put on some music and dance in your kitchen. So something, some set of commitments that are uplifting, that brighten the mind, that lead you to a sense of well-being. Yep. So, and those might be the same every day. You might have 3 or 4 things that you carry through the whole of the 100 days. It's a very personal choice. With respect to the mantra, I think it's good to start out with the intention to hold the same mantra for a period of time, a few days, a few weeks, but also to let it evolve. So with the mantra, you want to find words that resonate for you in your heart, that open your heart, that make you feel kind of soft and fuzzy for yourself, feel an affection. And sometimes we'll start with words that we think are a good idea, but after a while working with the mantra, we find we're actually not working well. They're not working well with us, you know. So some words could seem empowering, but in practice they might trigger something for us and not be right. So then feel free to shift. The other place it might evolve is you talk with someone else and their mantra is a little different and you like something about what they've put in theirs, and so you adjust. Yeah, your mantra should be short and simple, but short for you might be a paragraph. It might be a little bit longer. It could be, I do enough, I am enough. So it could be short and sweet. Yep, so those are some thoughts on the mantra. Then at night, there's a spot here for evening reflections where you're going to want to have a look back at what kind of a day you had and whether you accomplished what you set out to accomplish, how the gratitude practice worked for you, what good things happened today, what did I notice. So the 100 Days of Care is an at-home meditation retreat. And when we go on retreat, if you've ever been on retreat, there's prescribed periods of activity. So a bell will ring and you wake up in the morning. You go to the meditation hall and meditate for a period. The bell rings and off you go to breakfast, and the bell rings and you go back to the meditation hall, and the bell rings and you go out for a walking meditation and lunch. So there's these periods of practice, whether they're formal practice like sitting on a cushion or they're eating or rest periods. They have an established activity or something that you've been instructed to do or you've set out for yourself to do. And this creates a kind of container. So within the container, when the activity is prescribed or set out for you, that gives you a boundary where you can kind of check, what's happening for me within this boundary. So an example, so the 100 days, the main brackets are that morning intention and the evening reflection, and within that period we're noticing loving kindness towards ourselves. We're noticing whether we're doing what we set out to do, and we might then notice, isn't that funny, I can't seem to do the things I set out to do. And so we're lighthearted about that, and we begin to investigate. This is the nature of my mind. This is how it is for me. So a nice example of something you could practice with is to spend the day with the intention, I'm not going to complain today. And what you will find is how often and what you complain about, you know? So maybe you don't complain very much, but maybe you're surprised by how often you are complaining. Yeah, it's interesting. So this is where the container of the retreat is like a laboratory. It's like an experiment we're conducting in the causes and conditions. What in my behaviors lead to what responses and what reactivity in my heart, in my mind? You know, what does it feel like to complain? What does it feel like to find fault with oneself and with others? And so here we conduct the experiment, and then we start choosing to do the things that are peaceful at the time and lead onward to peace. Yeah. So that's the basic idea, and as we get started, after we've done a few days, you'll maybe begin to get the idea, or maybe you're a seasoned practitioner, you've done plenty of retreat, and this will be familiar to you already. Okay, so a couple of other things I will mention. So you're creating a personal mantra, you're reciting the mantra and meditating for a minute a day, minimum. Considering additional daily commitments that you want to undertake, and then engaging on a daily basis, or daily-ish. If you don't hit every day, please don't become discouraged. You know, it's one more opportunity to see, this is what it's like for me. I get swept away. Yeah, my mind becomes overwhelmed, and I get forgetful. I get swept back into reactivity and old patterns. Yeah. There is, on page 7 of the workbook, there is a set of things to keep in mind, which I'll just review quickly here. Be easy with yourself. So we've kind of covered that. But I'll say, you know, that this is not a project in fixing ourselves. We're not starting out with the premise that something's broken. Yeah. We're quite lovable with all of our faults. Yeah. So we're going to love ourselves whether we're engaged in the activities we aspire to or not. We're going to be easy with ourselves, and this is a really key point here, is to slow down. We're going to slow right down. So one of your commitments, I think for myself, I'll use this regularly. I don't know if I'll use it every day, but you know, to write down here on the paper, do one thing at a time. Take your time and do one thing at a time. We're getting into the quality of our life, the quality of paying attention and being present and feeling the body as you do the things. You know, instead of rushing. Yeah, we're investigating that impulse to rush. Why am I always chasing, next thing? You know, why can't I be comfortable right here? Yeah. And you ask yourself that question, and you don't need to answer it. You don't need a list of the reasons why you can't sit still. You just need to notice that impulse and do it a little differently. Oh, maybe I'll try just resting a minute before I react. I'll take a pause. So be easy with yourself. Be simple and specific. Keep the commitments small and manageable. Daily is a recommendation. Daily-ish is enough. Yeah. Now, I don't want to let you off the hook right away. You should have some drive to hit your goal every day. But the point is to not give up. If you skip a day, that's what it's like. Just get back to it when you notice that you have fallen off. If it doesn't feel good, you won't do it. So make it enjoyable. Make it light, easy, fun. Push your boundaries a little. You know, maybe you don't ever put the music on and dance in the kitchen. Maybe try. Yeah. Nobody has to see. Dance like nobody's watching. Let yourself evolve. Get curious about the ways that you might be rigid. So this is an interesting point, especially if we've already done a lot of personal development work. You know, work on ourselves and kind of habit changing and habit tracking and this sort of thing, or a lot of transformative meditative practices. We're aware of that process of making change for ourselves, but there might be ways in which we have substituted one kind of negative coping mechanism for a positive one, but we're still doing the good behavior, the good habit compulsively. You know, an example would be we give up drinking and instead we go for a run every day, and then we start running marathons, and we take it kind of to that ultra state. And so just checking how you're engaging in whatever the behavior is, because it's really about that how rather than the what. It's about that underlying intention. Give and get support. So find an accountability buddy, somebody that you can connect with and let them know what you're doing. They could be doing the program with you. We have the supports that are in place for you to connect with me and with others. We have Wednesday evenings here in the hut or live on Zoom. So it's simulcast. People coming in on Zoom will see the people in the hut, and vice versa. So that's Wednesday evenings at 7. It's a 90-minute session. It's offered freely. Your donations, if you would like to make a donation, it's very appreciated. It supports my passion for this work, which is not highly paid work. And it supports the whole community here of practice. And you'll see when we get to the section on generosity that it supports you. When we are generous, when we are giving, we are overcoming attachment, we are loosening strong self-interest and so forth, which is liberating. We also have Thursday evening yoga with me, 7:30. So that is a 75-minute class. It's going to be 100 Days of Care themed, but lighter on the talking. So we'll do some more physical movement, we'll do some meditation, we'll have a little check-in on how it's going for you. We'll have events between now and December 31st, including, I don't have a date yet, but in early October we'll do a Yoga Nidra, which is a sleep yoga practice, and that'll have an opportunity to connect about your 100 days. We have on Facebook a private group. Private means that when you're in the group and posting, it's not visible on the rest of the Facebook platform. It's still a public space. People could take a screenshot. People are still present and looking at your comments. We shouldn't behave on the internet in a way that we wouldn't in person. So it's a kind and cooperative space, collaborative space, supportive. And in that space, there'll be occasionally, I'll post things that you can respond to. People will choose, as they have in previous rounds, to make their own posts about their practice, and you can comment on each other's posts and encouragement and so forth. Inspiration can be shared there. Instagram, you could find us at 100.days.of.care. So 100 days of care, but with periods in between each of the words, and it's 100.days. So tagging us with the @ sign is going to bring your post to my attention. If it's suitable, I'll probably share it or at least comment on it. You can also, or I'd ask you if you could also use the hashtag 100 Days of Care. With a hashtag, so it's not as important in the private Facebook group because everything in there is about 100 Days of Care, but when you use the hashtag on Instagram or other platforms, if you click on a hashtag, you see all the posts that have that same hashtag. So it's a way to gather the content, search the content that you're interested in this case, this at-home meditation retreat. Beautifully. If you have other ideas for how to give and get support, I'm very open to adding things to the program. I am available for one-on-one connection if you wanted to reach out by donation. I offer my time for this freely. It's a very close to my heart, These practices come from 25 years of study and practice and a way of life that I've just been immersed in. It has brought me great meaning, and I love to talk about it. I love to share with others, and I love to learn. So I hope you'll feel that you can connect with me over the 100 days as time permits. So if you have questions, you could reach out. You can reach me by email at hello@gentlydownthestream.org. The website URL for 100 Days of Care is 100daysofcare.ca. And the hut is a part of Stream Yoga and Meditation in Port Colborne, Ontario. So if you're in the Niagara region, you come down anytime and come to a class. We have 6, 7 other teachers that are teaching in the space. Many of them are doing 100 Days of Care, and so you could connect with them as well. Beautiful. I think that's everything that I want to share in this first video. I will do my best to keep up the content. Oh, no, there is something else that I would talk about. So the 100 days is divided into 10-day periods. And within each, we will look at different quality of heart, chitta. Chitta is the word that I mean when I say heart. It means both heart and mind. And it's that kind of felt heart. It's different from the mind that is thinking, producing thought and conceiving and so forth. So it's that sort of receptive space in which you are aware of phenomena. Yeah. So 10 days 1 to 10, we're going to do determination. It's a mental quality, loving kindness, truthfulness, ethical self-discipline, energy, generosity, letting be, which is the fancier word for that, or the more religious word for that is renunciation, but letting be, letting go, yeah, non-attachment. Days 71 to 80, patience. Days 81 to 90, open-hearted seeing, which is my way of translating this term equanimity. It's most commonly the word used. It's a very balanced, open-hearted ability to see, yeah, ability to perceive, or see clearly. Days 91 to 100, wisdom. So these topics, although I'm teaching from a Buddhist point of view, they are universally wholesome qualities of heart, mind that we can cultivate. And you don't need to become a Buddhist, you don't need to take on any beliefs in order to benefit from the teachings. So we're going to meet Wednesdays at 7 for the period of 100 days. And because that doesn't line up with the 10 blocks, there'll be a few weeks where we double up on the topic. I think we do loving kindness twice and patience twice, and otherwise we'll just touch on each of the other far-reaching qualities. Beautiful. Thank you. Make a little dedication here. May your journey with the 100 Days of Care bring you great peace, contentment, insight. You know, may you lead yourself onward to freedom, to joy. And may our practice ripple out, touching the hearts and minds of all beings. May there be peace, may there be peace, may there be peace.